Mockumentaries like The Office or Tour de Pharmacy are known to be satirical, goofy, and usually exaggerate the characteristic of their protagonist to make a good joke. They use the codes of documentary as a platform to make us laugh and are not trying to make the story believable. In contrast, the left-hand side of the fridge uses the code of documentary to its advantage to tell a fictional stories and in some way to convince us that this could actually have happened. In this case, the movie has no narration and follows the life of Christopher, a young engineer that quit his job and is on a quest to find a better suit at work. His friend Stefan decides to follow him with his handheld camera, a staple for mockumentaries, with the goal to create a documentary on unemployment and the difficulties of job hunting.
The movie uses a non-narrative form to tell its story. Instead of describing the story and the plot through voiceover, they use visual techniques to show us what's going on. The camera is used as a tool, but also acts as a character.
Toi, hein?
Quoi?
Une dentition parfaite, tu dois manger beaucoup de pommes. Tu sais que les pommes, c'est très bon pour les dents.
C'est qui, lui?
Lui, c'est mon coloc, mais il peut pas te parler.
Qu'est-ce qu'il fait?
Il fait un film sur la recherche d'emploi.
Oh. Pour les nouvelles?
C'est pour la télé?
Non, c'est un documentaire, c'est pas un reportage.
Like in a real documentary, the other characters are aware that they're being filmed and act accordingly. Since the camera is operated by a character in the movie, it has a bias, a personality, and an impact as the story progresses.
When Christophe takes the camera to record Stefan, the power dynamic changes. The camera is used in this movie as a way to expose the person in front. So when it is Stefan's turn to be filmed, we can see that he is not as successful as the rest of the movie could show.
Ah, écoute, si t'aimes pas ça, on scrape ça.
Non, c'est pas ça, je veux pas rien scraper, là. Je suis juste étonné de voir le...
T'aimes pas ça?
Non.
Ok.
C'est parce que c'est que t'as écrit ça pendant qu'on travaillait, là? Je veux dire, c'était pendant qu'on répétait.
Ouais.
As soon as Stefan takes back the camera, we can instantly notice the story switch from Stefan's to Christophe's life.
Monsieur, nous regrettons de vous informer que nous ne pouvons vous payer des prestations. Vous avez quitté votre emploi de façon volontaire. Nous sommes d'avis que le fait d'avoir blablabla. Je suis désolé.
De façon volontaire, trouves-tu ça héroïque, toi?
Héroïque.
Ouais.
Puis donc, restez bien calme, Christophe.
Oh!
Tu te fâches jamais, toi? Faut que tu fasses appel, là.
Faire appel? Faut pas que je fasse appel, faut que je me trouve une job.
Tu baisses les bras.
Et j'ai ça quand tu dis ça. Là, je baisse les bras. Hein? Don't shoot! I have a wife and 2 kids!
To follow the codes of the documentary, the director uses recurring images and places to show the passing of time and to mark the important locations. For example, we can see Chris going to mail his CV on 3 different occasions and see the different seasons passing. This allows us to feel how hard the process is and how long it takes him to find a job. There are also recurring scenes at the supermarket where we can see the relationship with Odile evolve, as well as scenes at the convenience store with Chris chatting with the owner about job searching.
Oh, mercredi dernier, j'ai gardé la presse pour vous, la section de travail.
C'est vrai? C'est super gentil, merci.
Qu'est-ce que vous faisiez avant, vous?
Oh, avant, pas la même chose. Tout est vétérinaire.
Tout est vétérinaire. Vous étiez vétérinaire ici?
Non, au Vietnam, avec les vaches et les animaux.
Throughout the film, we can observe the development of Chris's job hunting, his financial situation, the relationship between Odile and Chris, as well as the relationship between Chris and Stefan. The film uses the developmental organization to show how unemployment takes a toll on him. Just like we talked about earlier, this progress is not described but shown with the use of editing. The relationship between Chris and Stefan is affected by the documentary. The movie shows that they are really good friends and roommates. As the story unfolds, their friendship degrades up to the point where Chris chooses to stop the documentary as a way to mark the end of the friendship.
J'ai l'impression que ça t'handicape, ça.
Et pourquoi vous avez accepté de vous faire filmer?
Parce que c'est mon ami. Et aussi parce que je suis quelqu'un d'extraverti, et puis ça m'amusait.
Oh, mais ça vous dessert.
C'est beau.
Toi, t'as peut-être besoin de moi. Moi, j'ai pas besoin.
Christophe, j'ai jamais forcé, t'avais juste à le dire.
OK. Ben, je le dis, là. C'est fini.
Chris's financial situation is changing. We can notice it just by where he purchases his food and what he eats.
In the first part of the movie, Stefan has an explorative position. His goal is just to document Chris's search for a job and understand the difficulties of unemployment.
Hey, tu m'avais demandé pourquoi j'avais accepté de faire ton film? Non, je l'ai. J'ai accepté de faire ton film, bon, parce que t'es mon coloc et que tu vas m'aider pour le loyer, mais aussi pour le côté ludique du film. Tu sais, le film finit quand je meurs! Le film aurait pu finir maintenant. Non, le film finit quand je me trouve un job, right? Mais on sait pas quand est-ce que je me trouve un job. C'est comme un thriller que t'es en train de faire là.
But this position changes after Chris's interview in Ontario. Stefan decides to intervene and critique the director of the company. He blames him for the actions of the parent company that he's the director of.
What media is this?
It's fine fish, eh? Awesome. Out of price for Nigerians, but then again, totally exported to rich countries by Grenon Zermatt.
Grenon Zermatt owns 53 companies around the world that employ over 120-some thousand people.
Yeah, of course, minus the 450 employees that you just laid off following Grenon Zermatt's takeover of Dawson Products.
Those layoffs were part of a plan that preceded the takeover. Seems to me that you're ill-informed, a little late, and that you make a very poor Michael Moore. Oh. Thanks for the fish.
My pleasure.
We then see that Stefan takes a more reflexive position for the rest of the documentary.
The documentary quickly switches from an unemployment documentary to a critique of big corporations and how they exploit their employees. Stefan, however, also participates in this exploitation, this time at a lower scale, as he exploits Christophe to make his documentary. We see that Stefan's expenses will be paid by Radio-Canada, but not Chris's, even though he is in much more trouble financially.
Stéphane, c'est Gilles. J'ai une bonne nouvelle puis une mauvaise. La mauvaise, c'est que je peux pas rembourser les dépenses de Christophe. Juste les tiennes.
Stefan ends up doing to his friend what he blames other companies are doing to other employees, profiting of the struggle of the misfortune of others. The more Chris struggles, the more his documentary becomes attractive, and is even able to get financing.
Je vais pas me sentir coupable parce qu'une compagnie fait des millions sur le dos des autres puis sac son camp.
OK. Alright. Des millions sur le dos des autres, hein? OK. Ça coûte combien le tournage? Ça coûte combien la location des caméras?
Fuck!
Toi, ton salaire, tu le fais sur le dos de qui, Stéphane?
Hey, mélange pas tout, veux-tu?
Pas juste les grosses compagnies qui font de l'argent sur le dos des autres.
The traditional codes of the documentary are used all over the films to add realism to the story. It is also a way to show that this situation happens more often than we think, and that it could very well be a true story. In our opinion, the movie is an excellent multi-layered critique of the exploitation and actions of big corporations, but also of activists who critique without thinking of the repercussions of their action, and that there is no good or bad in these situations.